The rain had been falling since early morning, steady and relentless, turning the city into a blur of gray. Water streamed along the sidewalks and gathered in shallow pools near the curbs. The streets, usually alive with traffic and chatter, felt strangely quiet beneath the weight of the storm. Through the curtain of rain hurried a young woman named Maya. She clutched her books tightly against her chest, trying to shield them from the downpour as she crossed the street. Her shoes splashed through puddles, and damp strands of hair stuck to her cheeks. She had just finished her final college exam, last one of her degree, and all she wanted was to catch the final bus home. The future felt wide open before her, bright with possibility. But at that moment, all she could think about was staying dry long enough to reach the bus stop. Halfway there, the sky seemed to open even wider. The rain intensified, pouring down in sheets so heavy it blurred the outlines of buildings and passing cars. Within seconds, Maya was soaked. Her umbrella, which had already been fragile that morning, had snapped in the wind earlier in the day. Now she had nothing but her books and her determination. She darted beneath a narrow awning outside a small closed shop. It offered little protection, but at least it shielded her from the direct force of the rain. She shivered as a cold gust of wind whipped through the street, carrying droplets that stung against her skin. The world beyond the awning looked distant and unreachable, swallowed by silver streaks of water. As she stood there, debating whether to make a desperate run for the bus stop, she became aware of someone beside her. An elderly man had stepped quietly under the awning. He was thin and slightly hunched, wearing a worn-out brown coat that had clearly endured many seasons. In his hand, he held a large black umbrella, sturdy and wide, the kind built to withstand storms. He glanced at her with gentle eyes. "You'll catch a cold, miss," he said, his voice calm and warm despite the weather. Maya offered a polite, slightly embarrassed smile. "I'll be fine," she replied, though her teeth nearly chattered as she spoke. The man studied her for a moment, noticing the books clutched protectively to her chest and the anxiety in her eyes as she looked toward the bus stop. Without another word, he extended the umbrella toward her. "Here, take mine." Maya blinked in surprise. "Oh, no, sir, I couldn't possibly," she protested quickly. "You need it." But the old man simply pressed the handle gently into her hand. His grip was firm but kind. "I insist," he said softly. She hesitated, glancing from the umbrella to the rain pouring beyond the awning. "But what about you?" she asked. A faint smile touched his lips, the kind that carried both wisdom and memory. "I've walked in the rain before," he said. "It won't hurt me. But you have somewhere bright to go." The words settled into her heart more deeply than she expected. Before she could argue further, he stepped away from the shelter and into the storm. The rain immediately drenched his coat, darkening the fabric, but he did not look back. He walked slowly down the sidewalk, unprotected, blending gradually into the gray distance. Maya stood frozen for a moment, gripping the umbrella. The rain no longer touched her, yet she felt something stir inside her chest, a mixture of gratitude, humility, and something she couldn't quite name. She wanted to run after him, to return the umbrella, to insist on sharing it at least, but he was already too far away. The bus arrived minutes later. She boarded, still holding the black umbrella tightly, and watched the rain trace patterns against the window. His words echoed in her mind. "You have somewhere bright to go." The next morning, the storm had passed. The city shimmered beneath fresh sunlight, as if nothing unusual had happened. But Maya returned, to the same spot, hoping to see the old man again. She waited longer than necessary, scanning every passerby. He did not appear. Over the following weeks, she kept looking. She asked the shopkeeper whose awning had sheltered them, the bus driver who often worked that route, even a newspaper vendor nearby. No one seemed to know who he was. It was as if he had appeared only for that single moment and then vanished back into the rhythm of the city. Eventually, life carried her forward. She graduated with honors and accepted a position as a teacher at a local elementary school. Her days became filled with lesson plans, children's laughter, and the steady responsibility of shaping young minds. Yet the black umbrella remained with her. She kept it by her door, using it whenever it rained. Each time she opened it, she remembered the stranger who had stepped into the storm so she could step toward her future. Years passed, and the memory never faded. One stormy afternoon, much like that day long ago, Maya was leaving school when she noticed a small figure standing by the gate. A young boy, no older than 9, stood there, trembling. His clothes were soaked, and his notebooks, worn and slightly torn, were clutched protectively in his arms. She approached him gently. "Where's your umbrella?" she asked. He lowered his eyes. "I don't have one, miss," he said quietly. The rain poured down harder, drumming against the pavement and the school roof. Without pausing to think, Maya opened her bag and pulled out the same black umbrella. Though older now, it remained strong and dependable. She placed it in the boy's hands. "Here," she said softly. "Take it." His eyes widened. "But miss, what about you?" Maya felt a familiar warmth rise in her chest. She smiled the same calm, knowing smile she had once seen on another face many years before. "I've walked in the rain before," she told him gently. "It won't hurt me, but you have somewhere bright to go." The boy hesitated only a second longer before nodding gratefully. He opened the umbrella and ran off down the street, the black canopy bobbing above him like a small moving shelter against the storm. Maya remained standing at the gate as the rain soaked through her clothes. The water was cold, but she didn't flinch. Instead, she felt an unexpected sense of peace. The storm no longer seemed harsh or inconvenient. It felt cleansing, almost symbolic. As she walked home beneath the falling rain, she imagined the old man somewhere beyond her sight, perhaps under a brighter sky. She wondered whether he had known, in that brief exchange, how far his kindness would travel. A single act, offered without expectation, had rippled forward through years and lives. From that day on, Maya kept a small, handwritten note tucked inside her bag. On it were words she had written herself, inspired by that long-ago afternoon. "The kindness you give today may one day return to you, even from someone you've never met." She understood now that generosity is rarely about grand gestures. It is about small moments, sound, umbrella shared, a reassuring word spoken, a quiet sacrifice made without applause. These are the acts that shape the world in unseen ways. Not all heroes announce themselves. Not all acts of courage are dramatic. Sometimes, heroism is simply choosing to step into the rain so someone else can stay dry. And sometimes, the simplest act of kindness becomes a shelter that lasts far longer than the storm itself. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more heartwarming English stories only on English Life Tales.